Right, hello. Okay, so back again. Today we are going to be moving on from what we've been doing before. So it's still going to be SOH CAH TOA, but we're going to end up having to, instead of finding a side, like these questions ask us to here, we will need to find the angle. So we'll be given the 70, we'll be given a number on this side as well, and we'll have to find out what the angle is. As before, we have got a starter here, so if you haven't done that yet, can you please pause the video, complete the starter first, and then come back for the solution just after that. I'll do the solution just now then. First of all, as we did before, label the triangle. We've got the hypotenuse over here across from the right angle. We take a line from the angle that we have, which is the 40, through the triangle to get us to the x, which means we have an O here, and then the adjacent is down the bottom. SOH CAH TOA. Now, even though today we're moving on a little bit, we're still using the SOH CAH TOA acronym as well. So we've got A, we've got 70 at the A, we've got something at the O as well, which tells us we're using tan. So as before, tan x equals opposite over adjacent. You don't need to remember that, but you do need to know how to use it. X is your angle, so that's 40. O is where the x is in the triangle, and then the A is 70. The only way we can rearrange this is by making it 70 multiplied by tan 40. And we can put that into our calculator. If you've got a scientific one at home, it just goes straight in. Otherwise, you've got the one that I gave you yesterday, the online version, you can use that instead. So 58.7 centimetres is the answer to this. Hopefully you got on okay with it. If you didn't, please ask in either the comments of the video. I suppose you could do that as well, or on Teams. So finding the angle is what we're moving on to today. As you can see with this triangle here, it is the angle that's down the bottom there that we do not know. The good thing is, however, that the same steps apply. So we label the triangle first. We make sure that the hypotenuse is over here. We are given the angle, which is x, so the angle, the side opposite that angle, we draw through the triangle, is going to be the 12, and the adjacent is the 17 down below. Again, we write out our SOH CAH TOA, and we are going to tick what we have. Now this time we have something at both sides, so we will be able to tick both of them. We've got a 12 at the O and we've got a 17 at the A, so we can tick both of those. And again, we're using tan. Won't always be tan, just so happens that the first two that we've used are tan. So opposite over adjacent, just like in the starter. Then in this case, we don't know a number for x, so we just leave that as x for the angle. We don't have an angle, so we leave it there. We have O, so we've got 12 in place of the opposite, over A, which is 17 in this example, 12 over 17. This is where it gets slightly different. We have got to, instead of bunging something into our calculator just now, we have got to rearrange this in a slightly different way. In a slightly different way, that will give us x. To do that, we need to do the opposite of tan. Now, on the online calculator, you will see a little thing that says tan minus 1. And that's the opposite of tan. So the opposite of multiply is divide, the opposite of add is subtract, and the opposite of tan is tan to the minus 1. Now, it's called the inverse of tan, but it will be displayed as tan to the minus 1. When you click that in the calculator, you will then put in the calculation that is represented by the fraction, which is 12 divided by 17. You can get that in your scientific calculator by using shift or second function, depending on the calculator you have, and then hitting tan button. Okay, so 12 divided by 17, once you've got that in. It's extremely hard to do this on your phone, on the calculator on your phone, especially if you've got an iPhone, so it would be much better if you used the online calculator that I've given you. And when you do that correctly, you will end up with 35.2. Now, our angles aren't measured in centimetres or metres, they're measured in degrees, so we put a little degrees sign on there. And that is us completed. We've got a value for x, so we're done. The good thing again with these questions is it's very similar for the next lot of questions that we do. So this next one here, we have got to first label the triangle, write down our SOH CAH TOA, substitute, and then we'll use our little sine to the -1, could be cos or could be tan to the -1 as well. Hypotenuse in this one is over at the 12 because that's across from the right angle. Opposite the angle x through the triangle is over here, that's O, and the adjacent. In this case we are given the adjacent, so the A, we're also given the hypotenuse, so the H, and we're using cos this time then. So cos x equals adjacent over hypotenuse. We don't know x this time, so we leave that as x. We know what A is, that's 6, and H is 12. Now if you look back up at what we did last time, we took the inverse function, or the function to -1, is how it will display in the calculator, of the fraction. So in this case we have to do cos -1, that should be x equals of 6 divided by 12. And again, now if you're not able to put this in your calculator, you don't know how to, if you're using the online calculator it will make life a lot easier. If you don't know how to, don't worry, I'll be able to talk you through it later on if you need it. Okay, and you can ask questions either, as I said, in the comments or on the Teams page. So that gives us then x equal to 60, and that means that the angle in here then has to be 60 degrees, and that is what we need to do. The most important step is this one here. Okay, this step should be fine to you, that's the same as you've done the past 2 days and before the holidays. This one, again, should be okay, it's putting the numbers in, just make sure they are round the right way. This is the step that is new. But once you get that step down, the answer is pretty straightforward as well, because it just comes out of the calculator. If you do have any questions, please do let me know. You now have a task to complete the questions, the worksheet that is given to you on Teams. Please go back to the Teams page and complete that worksheet now. Thank you very much. Let me know if you've got those questions.